Bitcoin is on fire. It's been on fire and it continues to be on fire, and maybe a bit of a dumpster fire going on in other portions of this market, which is going to be the focus of today's topic. And other than that, I want to welcome you back to the Krown Crypto channel. It's a nice little Wednesday morning. Had to check on the computer for that one. It's the 12th. No, it's the 6th day of December. I'm still on American time frames as far as reading the dates go. And without further ado, let's just jump right into this one. I actually want to start off this particular analysis with yet another one of these meta signal setups over here as Doggy, the old Dogecoin, which this will tie into the analysis a little bit later. It's actually really, very important in my opinion. Has played out one of their publicly shared setups over here. I did want to take a second to kind of speak about this. Again, I am an investor in this project, so please do understand I'm biased. I'm biased as fuck. But you can see another one of these working out over here. By the way, there's actually a really good one that they shared yesterday that did not work out. I do want to I would humbly implore you to also see that as well, just because we have seen a lot of these work out recently. Yes, obviously market's been up, it's been rather easy in this case. It's not always going to be like that, obviously, but in this case, this one hitting that first targeted region with flying colors pretty damn fast actually as well. Doesn't always happen like that. Is kind of just like the, dare I say, this is like hubristic to say, but the easier portion of the market right now. But yeah, just a note to the people who are interested in this or do already have it. The target 1, target 2, target 3, there's not always a target 2 or target 3 for these ones, especially in the version 1 beta here. So that is just another reminder that, hey, if you are going to get into something like this, it's more to be looked at as like a signpost. It's like, hey, you have a probabilistic setup in this direction with these numbers, but also use your own discretion as well, because obviously this one probably going to go for more, to be honest with you. Probably going to go for more. Anyways, to tie that into the analysis of today, I do want to say that while Dogecoin over here is taking a nice major leg up, and I suspect that we're going to see a lot of charts that look similar to this start to take major legs up, it's unlikely to keep pace with Bitcoin. So when we're talking about terms of relative strength, most of this market is going to have a very difficult time, I think, in the coming month, maybe even coming 2 months, to keep up with Bitcoin. Why do I say that? Because we have gotten confirmation on one of the most important charts for kind of talking about such things, which is Bitcoin dominance chart over here. And in this case, we can see that it has made new yearly highs, not just new yearly highs, but it is just a continuation of overall trend with these higher highs and higher lows. I did say that yes, there's a potential for a major, maybe even a macro top at 54%. We saw a major top there, yes, not a macro top. This is not a macro top. This is macro continuation, and it seems quite obvious at this point as well. Still 25 days left to go in the month, obviously, of December, but realistically, this can shoot up significantly more. Now, I want to take a step to tie this into a greater picture vision of of what I believe is going on here, but this is eerily similar, very, very similar now, I do believe, with regards to what we saw in 2017. In 2017, we saw a general market rally versus US dollar. That's what we just saw with the Dogecoin. That's what we're seeing with a lot of shitcoins, what we're seeing with a lot of the very highly esteemed altcoins as well, which is definitely the one that you hold and not the ones that other people hold, however, because you're wise and they're dumb. And I'm dumb as well. And so that's why I probably just I probably should get off the topic, but also I just don't buy those things to begin with. Too dumb, man. But too stupid to buy. But yeah, my point is that the correlations to 2017 are really starting to become very apparent here, which is, I don't want to say good. It's good from the perspective of bulls, obviously. But it's a nuanced thing. And it is this, again, most things are going to go up versus US dollar. They're going to go up in various degrees of strength versus the US dollar, but they will go mostly down versus Bitcoin. So you have kind of, in my opinion, the best part of of the market where things generally go up versus US dollar. You can just be that dumb monkey like throwing darts at the board. And still doing okay. And but the thing is, the real question now isn't necessarily are you outpacing the US dollar? It's, are you outpacing Bitcoin? Are you going to outperform Bitcoin? It would be the same thing as like if you were in the stock market and you wanted to be a single stock picker and you wanted to compare yourself against like the S&P or a NASDAQ or something like that. So my point is that you really have to be paying attention, I do believe right now, to actually altcoin Bitcoin pairings. We'll do an altcoin video maybe tomorrow or maybe Friday. I don't necessarily know when I'll release it just yet, but for right now, it does seem to me that this is that part of the market cycle, and that generally speaks towards the long-term health of this rally, long-term. So, anyways, now that we've spoken about now that we've kind of spoken about a lot of nice things, let's speak about, I guess, Bitcoin over here on the daily for CME. We can see that the HPDR bands are getting into some pretty uncharted territory between the 90% of historic returns range and the 80% of historic returns range. So it's starting to get into outlier territory here. Yeah, it can get more extreme for sure. We have seen things all the way up to 95 before, and in black swans we've seen things to 99 and spot 9 even. It doesn't happen often, obviously, being a black swan, but ultimately it is starting to signal that, hey, this rally, yes, I do think it goes for more overall, but we're probably nearing the top in terms of like an actual dollar number relatively soon before another one of these prolonged consolidations. But again, in the more near term, Bitcoin probably continues. Maybe after a short-term pullback, if we go over here to the index, we can see a slightly different view. Bitcoin's brushing up against that 80% of historic returns range high. Yes, I do think it's going to bust through there, but in the short term, a pullback is not out of the question. And in fact, rather likely. Have we already seen the low of that pullback? Maybe on CME here, it just got barely below $44,000. I do think that on CME it could get down as low as like 43,350-ish region. And seen as there is about a $500 to $600 price premium on CME versus spot price action, that could put Bitcoin on spot, even as low as I don't know, like 42 ish, a little below $42,000. Long term, however, very important. Long term, nuance point right here. Well, not long term, but on the daily, as long as Bitcoin is above, yes, it is low, which is 41,268 and change, the overall rally continues to higher, and just a short-term pullback is just that, just a short-term pullback before continuation, with the next sort of areas of interest realistically a lot closer to $48,000. So you're starting to see these deep 48,000, these deep 40 targets start to populate themselves. We spoke about this quite a few times on this channel over the past few months, and also I want to give a major shout out to my man, Mr. Fibos. He is the best. He's the best long-term guy I've ever seen to do it ever, and that's just a fucking fact. Because there might be other better people, but he's the best one that I know. Okay, he's the best one that I know. He's amazing. He was talking about these things about 6 months ago. And we started getting, on this channel, we were like, all right, kind of makes sense. But I didn't really see anything personally that led me to believe that was included in my models until the last 2 to 3 months. So, I think a lot of other people are starting to catch on to it right now. My point is, and what I really want to get to here now is that as Bitcoin does start to get really deep within this current rally, I would start to be a little bit more cautious. I think that it goes more. My personal opinion is that it goes more. Any sort of a daily closure above 44,500, you're very likely going to see, somewhere between 46.5 to maybe even as much as 48 in the near term. But here's the thing: when we look at HPDRO, directional volatility, it's starting to get, it's not super extreme just yet. That's why I do say that it probably has more, but it is starting to get pretty hot here. When I look at HPDRV, yeah, there is certainly more room here. I mean, this rally, this move, just in general, the move intensity compared to what we saw in October on that first splurt up over here, well, it's still not even comparable at this point. This one hitting a high in terms of volatility at 63 percentile, the other one hitting, just above 80 percentile. So to put things in perspective, yeah, things can go a lot more, or it's not a lot more, but it can get more intense first before things do cool off. So again, I'm not calling for a high here, maybe just a short-term pullback, that's fine. Anything above basically 42 is fair game. I don't have strong opinions on where the pullback comes. My general strong opinion is on strong continuation, and Bitcoin does still finish the month higher, but that's at the point where I do think, you're probably going to see at least like a major weekly top. I do think, and Bitcoin starts to, put in its major retracement. You're really starting to see some optimism in the market, a lot of hopium and everything. All the people who are talking about recessions and bullshit, very high consciousness topics like recessions. They're starting to switch around and switch their tune. have people fucking learned now that the macro bullshit is fucking bullshit? The reason why it's bullshit is because it's not fucking objective. That's why. Okay, I'll just say it's not fucking objective. But still, many things coming in the deep 40s. I think that Bitcoin could maybe even overshoot it. I do think that we probably see a parabolic blow off here. Just with the way that this move has been, a lot of the time these moves will end in a blow off after the major climax, which then we could look at volume. But does it end up overshooting this area over here? Probably yes, actually. In my opinion, probably yes. You probably get a big wick above there, close below there, and then you get a big major weekly retracement. Could be somewhere anywhere between 25 to 40% region, but ultimately, it probably goes up more first. That's my point that I think I probably repeated ad nauseum, and you don't need to hear it again. Anyways, moving on to the next thing. I did want to follow up on the 6-hour Oracle setup or signal over here from their indicator, as it is still long within this trade. I should say, however, from this particular perspective, which again is a 6-hour time frame, I put that in kind of the low to medium term time frame category. That is still, again, suggesting that there's more. I can pull it back here, that's fine. But remember that this one will only fire off a sell after the top is actually already in for this move. So it's not going to get the ultimate top of it. It's not really the point of it. It's to get like the bulk of this move, which I think it's actually done a pretty damn good job, especially on these last couple ones right here. Boom and boom, and then kind of chops around during these consolidations, and actually did okay over here. Actually did pretty well over here, to be fair. But ultimately, this one over here, again, still suggesting, once more. On top of that, we can reference the daily range statistics. So if we look at Wednesday, it is 50% of all Wednesdays have closed, well, positively or negatively. It's literally a coin flip in comparison to all of the other days of the week. Actually, Sunday is also a coin flip as well, but Tuesday was the most bullish day, which is why yesterday we were saying, hey, continuation today, very, very likely. Wednesday, however, more of a coin toss. But what is interesting about this one is that on the days that it has had a positive return, the average return has been 2.5%. On the days that it's had a negative return, it's been negative 2% or just above there. So I do want to see that if Bitcoin were to apply to pullback today, what would 2% from the current open look like to the downside? Just kind of get an idea of how far this pullback could come and still play within that data. About $43,000, anywhere around $43,000. So again, short term, very, 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 very short term, wouldn't mind a pullback, somewhere down around there. Any pullback that fails to go below $42,000 is irrelevant for the downside, in my opinion, before upside continuation. So I think that is probably a good place. Yeah, good place to leave off on this one. As always, you can get the Chart Prime package in the link in the description below. I should also let you know that they've added several other indicators to it from both my repertoire and also ones that are coming up, which I'm told now they are like literally working on at this moment, probably done before Christmas, which I think would be cool as hell. So yeah. Anyways, good place for me to be leaving off as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully tomorrow for Thursday.